What's up, guys? We are back. Episode numero.
I forgot.
20. I think
That's
we are
a good
at
thing.
29.
29.
Episode 29 of Kid Got Your Ticket.
My favorite number. The 2 and the 9.
The 2 and the 9.
The 2 represents something about you and the 9 represents something about me.
Oh, that's right. There you go.
Y'all will never know the secrets of the Kid Got Your Ticket hosts.
Yeah, we don't want to divulge too much information because then that's how they start catching you and telling you, oh, so wait a minute. So that means that her stuff, there's always going to be a 2 or a 9.
So they won't know.
What do you mean?
They won't know who has the 2 or who has the 9.
Well, you said it was for you.
Well, not really. It's just an important number for me.
Okay, very good.
So do you guys like the new do?
Oh, that's right. If you cannot see her because if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast, you got a new haircut.
I did.
It looks amazing. It looks very
love
good.
It. You guys like it?
I think it looks awesome. I think you look beautiful.
I think so too. And I straightened it. So I don't have very curly hair, but I have curly hair. And,
Is it curly or wavy?
I don't know. It's not curly like this.
No, it's not curly.
It's not like spiral curls.
No,
it's more like a ocean.
wavy.
The ocean caressing the
It's
hair.
wavy.
Yes, it's wavy, but it's a cute wave. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
nice
not
hair.
a
You
like
still
the
got nice
regular
hair.
wave. It's a nice.
Regardless if you have hair with straight or wavy, I think it looks
It
great
looks
both
good
ways.
on me.
Yeah.
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 I feel like my face looks so much longer,
Yeah.
but I feel like a model. All right. Well, this morning we were having some fun, right? And we even decided that we wanted to podcast about it because it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we were talking about two different things. We were talking about what the old world was versus the new world we live in.
That's right. So, what was post March versus
Pre-March.
Pre-March
Yep.
to versus what's post
That's
March?
right. Yep. Yeah, because after March 13th, for us, everything just changed.
Well,
From one day to another.
Yeah.
We had to close
technically,
down.
Everything went to pause.
Yeah.
For what? 3 months, and then once they unpaused the button, it's like we didn't even pick up from where we started. We basically had to come back in with something completely different, right? Because we went from being 100% occupied to.
Yeah, from running full-blown karate classes, running full-blown after-school programs, day camps, everything 100% booked, stacked, schools booked, stacked, and then Friday came along, that last Friday, and after that, schools were closed. Everything stopped. It's not just our business.
No, it's everybody.
Everything stopped. Schools stopped. People stopped going to schools. That's when the world changed. At that very moment, the world changed.
I still remember the moment that you said, babes, this is really, really, really crazy, or this is something's going on, because if they just stopped a basketball game that was just about to start and canceled it right on the spot, there's something going on.
That's right. And there's a famous saying we have here in America: the show must go on. The show didn't go on. The show came to an abrupt stop. Fans were ready in the seats. When does that happen in history? No matter what, they will fake it for the show to still go on. The show didn't go on. The show stopped. There was people in the stands. There was an audience. This is not an emergency, ladies and gentlemen. Please exit the stadium.
I know.
And they just closed everything.
We were about to watch that game, right? Because we wanted.
Yeah. And everything just stopped. Everything stopped being. And I know we're all trying to hold on to what the old world is and trying to play by those games of the old world, but this is a new world. I think everything has changed where, you have people saying that they want their business to reopen. I think everybody right now has to start reinventing.
That's right. It's a new era.
We just entered a new era, and everybody needs to start reinventing themselves. Everybody needs to start playing by the new world games or by the new world rules. The rules changed March 13th, at least for us.
That's right.
Maybe it changed at a different date for other people, but for us, that Friday, the rules changed. The world changed.
My hairstylist actually told me that her world changed on March 20th when the boss or the person who owned the business called her and said, "That's it. We can't operate.
You can't operate.
No cutting hair. They can't be people close to each other. You're not allowed to touch somebody's hair or touch somebody or be in close proximity." So yeah, you're right. A lot of things change, and you're right. For some people, it kept going. Like a lot of restaurants, right? We were talking about that. A lot of restaurants are still in operation, but here locally, we're hearing of a ton of them shutting down. And businesses that have been open for 30, 40, 50 years, which means they had a solid clientele.
Yeah. If they were able to maintain open, after the first 5 years, your business should be in good standings if it's in good standings. If in 5 years your business is not in good standings, that means it didn't work, plan B, right?
Exactly.
But if you've been in business for 40, 50 years, your business has been working. You've earned your clientele.
You got the golden ticket.
And when those clientels stop coming to your business because of fear or whatever, or because you were forced to shut down, rules changed.
And you know what? You made so much sense. You said, babe, a lot of these people...
Sorry about that.
A lot of these people that have these 50, 40, 30-year-old businesses that are shutting down, their clientele is the older clientele.
The older clientele who
started with them when they were year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So...
And who are right now technically most at risk for getting the virus. But everybody wants to reopen. Mm-hmm. But those are old world games or old world rules. What worked in the old world is not going to work. It's not going to work in the new world anymore.
Not with the mindset that has shifted.
Everything shifted.
The mindset shifted.
Because a lot of people say, no, it's a conspiracy. Once the elections is a plan to control us. You know what? If that's it, maybe it could be found out that it's a lie and there's really not a virus and we can all go back. Perfect. That's a good scenario. But if it's not,
which I don't think
if it's not a conspiracy and it is the real thing, then we're screwed because there is a virus.
Then it's going to take us time to start figuring out what the new world rules are, because I feel like we put the tempo. The people have to put the tempo. Yeah. The government can give rules, but we as society have to put the tempo in and say, hey, listen, we're going to either support these businesses and go out and do what we have to do respectfully, taking care of ourselves, proper hygiene, nice masks.
But what can they do? What can us, the people?
Yeah, us.
We could, but the government is saying no.
Exactly.
The government is saying no, you can only have a certain amount of capacity in your establishment, or you cannot do indoor dining, or everything has to be done outside. You're playing by their rules.
But and this is what we were talking about this morning, but are the landlords and are the people that own the places of these businesses, are they playing by the rules? Are the mortgage companies playing by the rules? Why do we have to play by the rules? And why do we always have to get the short end of the stick, but everybody else gets it over the little guy?
Well, we cannot play by the new rules until those in control start playing by the new rules.
That's right.
Because they set the rules. So it all trickles down. So you have the banks that own the mortgages. They own the mortgages on people renting properties, people, businesses, lease terms, whatever. They're still collecting full mortgage.
For rent.
For rent. For rent or the mortgage or whatever it is, right? Whatever,
the mortgage. Sorry,
right? They're still collecting the mortgage. Same price. That entails the business owner who has a mortgage with the bank, mm-hmm. or a homeowner to still continue paying what they were making when old world rules were in play.
Exactly.
Before coronavirus. So now it trickles down, because now let's say the owner of our property where we ran Super Kids Clubhouse, if her mortgage didn't change, she cannot change for us. But yet we have to change, and we cannot allow people inside of our establishment because of fears of contamination, of spreading the virus. But yet we still have to pay a full mortgage. Now, that rule can't be changed until the banks say, okay, guys, this is new rules. You cannot have a certain amount of people in your establishment in order to continue the economy going. We need to readjust our mortgages. Mm-hmm. So let's say if you were paying 10 grand, now you're getting 50% of your clientele in, 50% off.
No, I agree. And we make 100% sense, because we try to live in a fair and perfect world, right?
Yeah.
That's true. But you see, the thing with that, where the government's going to be like, oh, no, we can't do that, is that if they do that to that, then they also have to reduce the food prices. Yep. Then people have to come in and say, hey, yo, listen, I know you're a doctor and I know you make $250,000, but the business or the aspect of the business of a hospital is not, well, hospital is a bad choice. Let's forget about that. Let's go ahead and say a famous dance school or university. Well, now instead of charging $20,000 per semester at a very good university, now we're going to lower it back and now we're only going to charge $5,000 because we can't do inflation because if we increase prices, then we're really going to be screwed. Yeah. But that's what's happening.
They're trying to make
up. Food prices are going up.
Because they're trying to make up for the lost revenue.
But we can't. We actually have to scale back everything. Even property taxes have to get scaled back.
Everything has to scale back.
Everything. Health insurance,
There needs to be a readjustment.
Yes.
Now, even if we're in for a readjustment, that cannot be applied until the banks and those in control say, okay, let's play by these new rules. Because otherwise, the whole economy is going to crash.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm going to add on to that. You know what the funny thing is? Is that anything that has to deal with the people, they don't care if it goes up and down, right? So for properties, for example, you want to play Monopoly, you own your house, and you bought it at a certain amount, right? Now we got to readjust, guys, because that property value, you are not going to be able to pay that amount per month for your mortgage. Okay. Some people are. Remember, this is not for everybody. We don't, there's going to be adjustments.
But it has to be done across the board.
It has to.
To be done
it has to. So, and then if it happens in one area, everybody's going to be affected. Yeah. It doesn't matter if your business didn't get hit by COVID because you have, I don't know.
But it's coming. But it trickles.
It has to.
It trickles.
But it has to be a unified, across the board, scale back.
It's like sports. How are they going to start? We were talking about this earlier. How are sports going to continue making money?
How are you going to pay a basketball player $150 million? Is that? I think they make more than that. Don't they make like $400 million?
Some people make different amounts.
Okay.
So now, the thing is, if most people nowadays are streaming all their sports, they cannot get spectators inside of the actual stadium to watch them play because that's a no good right now. That means they're losing ticket sales. They're losing on people purchasing merchandise. Because
food,
you're not going out anymore.
Exactly, you're not wearing that. You're not representing the hat because nobody's playing.
Nobody's outside.
Exactly.
You don't need to show it off.
Exactly.
You don't need to show off that new shirt.
We're
that old
really
shirt.
Going back to the old times.
You know what? I want to go ahead and I want to wear a shirt because I'm going to the game tonight, and of course I want to represent my home team.
And you know what? The shirt costs $250, but it doesn't matter because I'm a represent.
Right. So now what ends up happening is that sale is gone. Viewership on TV is down because now everybody's streaming. Who has a cable or
and advertising companies?
So that starts going down, right? And if nobody's watching, how can these owners pay for them? I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about what happens if this virus continues for 5 years.
Well, you know what? These owners have very, very deep pockets, so they might be able to survive this
at a loss.
Exactly. But how about us? How about that guy that you read me his post that said that he was talking about how up to now he's been able, I don't know, you read it more. I mean, I read it.
Yeah.
But I know
he's been getting about 2 students back a week. Now he's in the martial arts industry. He's been getting about 1 to 2 students back a week, and
he was at 14. Now he's at 14 initial students on a mat. Right?
Yes.
That's what I read.
Yes. When at one point, some classes are always packed, and I can relate because it used to happen to us as well. Now, you can't, and a lot of parents are also calling to freeze their memberships, which
Absolutely.
I believe a lot of people have frozen their memberships across the board in gyms, and I think people are starting to scale back, and that's something that you were saying, which is scaling back on your expenses because it's not the same. Now, if everybody starts scaling back, that's less taxes for the government. What are they going to have to scale back on? Services? No. They will scale back, and they scale back really fast.
Yeah, they won't take it off the bill.
What they're going to scale back off is things that don't benefit them, but that may benefit us, like infrastructure of the streets. That goes. Then all of a sudden, you start seeing potholes in the streets.
How about light at
Housing.
night?
Yep, lights at night. We're gonna start turning them off. Police. We're gonna start taking people off because there's not enough. What can it lead to? And we're all still trying to play by the old world rules, which is let's try what worked in the old world, and it's not gonna work. You need to apply what's gonna work in this new world. You have sports professional athletes who have to live in a bubble in order to play.
I know we were talking about that.
Right?
Isn't that like in a way psychotic? Like
It's not, because that makes sense to me.
Well,
Absolutely, I get it.
I'm saying the psychotic part, which is what
Which
we're going to
we're
get
gonna-
to right
exactly,
into now.
Right? So you have baseball players, football players that pass through a machine that sprays them with disinfectant. Right? It sprays them with disinfectant. All right, now you guys can go play. And you cannot leave the bubble, because if you leave the bubble, you might get fined or you may not be allowed to play because you may have caught the coronavirus. Now, these are people who are elite.
And in top physical condition.
Just tops.
And if you ask
Nutritionists.
me, yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Their vitamin levels, they eat perfect.
If you have a horse that's gonna win the Kentucky Derby, you want to make sure that horse gets the best treatment. I'm investing $100 million on this athlete. I'm gonna get the best nutritionist. I'm gonna get the best coaches to be able to help him achieve his very, very best.
Yeah. So you can operate like a Ferrari.
You don't see fat on these people.
No.
They're muscle. They're incredible specimens of people.
And then you did mention somebody who got the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And what happened with him?
I think he recovered and his heart started enlarging, right? But now, this was happening to pro sports, and they're only about maybe 5-10 of them in a team. I'm sorry, maybe 15 people per team, and they have to live in a bubble. But our kids, yeah, they should go back to school.
Absolutely.
They don't need to be in a bubble. When they get back out of school, they can come back, hug grandma, hug grandpa.
Share food with everybody in the house.
And if their sibling goes to another school, they can also hang out together in case one of them gets it. No, they can't get it because they're kids, right?
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah.
And then they can go back, and teachers don't have to live in a bubble either. After they leave school, they can go shopping for groceries. They can go run the errands they need to run without an issue. They can leave the bubble.
Yeah.
Oh no, there isn't a bubble. No, we can just spread out as much
Just
as we want.
Wear your mask and wash your hands.
Yeah, but NBA players, pro athletes, they have to live in a bubble, and they won't allow spectators inside. Not even spread out 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
With masks.
Why? Because they're not in the bubble, right?
With masks or a shield. No, because they wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. They're not in their bubble.
They're not in their bubble. They're not allowed to come close to them anymore. So what does that tell us about this crazy disease? And
that it's contagious.
If they're taking those type of precautions with elite athletes, but we won't take the same type of precaution with our kids going to school, who most of them eat like shit.
Or doing sports. Like, I'm seeing kids play soccer. Our son was a huge soccer fan. Like, he loves soccer. And we haven't been able to take him back. And like I said, it's not that we fear it, we respect it. And I don't want to go ahead and get into any... It's too new now.
I don't want to be a guinea pig.
Exactly.
I don't know what the effects or the side effects of having the coronavirus are going to happen 5 years from now. But right now, I want to know as much as I can before I make a decision.
It's true. It's true.
I have many parents asking me, hey, are you planning on going back to brick and mortar where you hold classes on a personal level live? I don't know enough.
Who takes care of you if you get sick?
Yeah, what happens if I get sick? Now I cannot even teach online if I get sick because I'm going to be coughing. And what happens if I'm one of the rare few that takes me?
Oh, don't say that.
But I'm just saying, are you willing to take that risk? Yeah, I'm willing to take that risk. Yes, because we're still playing by those old world rules.
Because we're still comparing it to the flu.
Yes, I think it's a different thing. I think we live in a different, life changed. And some people, it's very hard to make a transition. And there's some people that are going to be like, you know what? I have to play with the new rules. Like what was sold in the 1920s, like a VHS, right? Yeah, you're trying to sell VHSs now. It's like, Yeah, that doesn't work in this world. Nobody's gonna buy that, right? Same thing. You can't play by those same games or those same rules that applied back in the old world. This is the new world. You need new rules. But unfortunately, we cannot play by the new rules until the rulers start playing by the new rules. Because if those rules, if their old world rules are still in play, they'll still evict us. They will still take our property because they believe that everything might get better. And I hope it does. I got my fingers crossed. But I don't see it. I think it's a virus. It's like the flu. But I just think it's contagious. And if it doesn't get you on the first shot, it might get you on the second shot because you might get it again.
We don't know.
If it's that contagious. Right?
And then now with Fauci going ahead and saying that the virus is only 50% liable or viable. The vaccine. What did I say? Sorry.
The virus.
The vaccine itself, now that we're finding out that it's only 50%, I'm not interested. I was telling my hairstylist yesterday, I was telling her, let's say that you're one of those unlucky, misfortunate people that gets hit with the vaccine and you freaking get it full blown.
Yeah. No, and what if let's say you get the virus the first time and it doesn't get you that bad.
Yeah, you get a little sniffle.
It wasn't that bad. I'm not scared of it. But there's a little damage in your lung.
And you don't know.
Because it didn't hit you that bad because you were strong. 2 years later, your body can handle a second one. A year later, 6 months later.
3 months.
3 months later, you catch it again, and that's the one that's going to take you out. Or how about if it doesn't take you out, but this time you think it's not that bad, and you go ahead and you infect a person that can't take it that bad. Yeah. That is going to take them out.
You go, hey, you know what? I didn't get it bad. Who cares?
I didn't get it bad. What they're saying is false. The thing is that it doesn't affect everyone the same, and you don't know how it's going to affect you.
And that's what's the key. It's not that it's a virus that is killing many people. No, it's just that you don't know how screwed you're gonna be while you get it, and after you get it, and then if you re-get it, and how it's gonna be. Oh no, you don't. And who wants to deal with that? And then with the kids syndrome, the ones that it just starts shutting down their organs. Like it literally starts.
So what's it called again?
Isn't it the Kawasaki virus? Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Kawasaki.
Yes, something with a K. And because they said that a lot of it was a disease that came from Japan or, anyways, if I'm off, I'm off. Don't hang me. I'll do it myself. But I know that the disease itself, because I know what the causes are, is that it just starts shutting down organs. It's called a multi-organ shutdown in the body. So it starts off with, like, let's say the lungs, and then it'll move to the kidneys, and then it moves to the heart. And then there's a new thing that came out, some meningitis that kids are being exposed to, and it's only for kids. So basically, if your child starts getting like a droopy face, kind of like if they look like they got a stroke.
But is it happening only in the United States or is it happening worldwide?
It has to be something that's happening worldwide, but I know that it was found here. Look at the bubonic plague. Didn't China have to shut down Mongolia because there was a death of the bubonic plague? Yeah. Even though I looked it up and people die of the bubonic plague. People die every year of the bubonic plague.
The thing is that you got to be careful with news like that because since we're so gullible and we're so intertwined with viruses and sicknesses right now that maybe there is a disease out there that's shutting down kids' organs. And maybe it would have came regardless without the coronavirus. But now, as long as it doesn't hit a majority of the population, then it's never as bad. But it's bad now because we have the coronavirus. So any virus is going to make anything else a lot bigger.
Exactly.
You know? Like we have dengue down here in Miami with the mosquitoes. And we have West Nile as well.
And then didn't we have, at one point, you see, am I right?
What's
that what it's called?
It's called... what we know of the Kawasaki disease-like syndrome. All right.
Yeah. So it is the Kawasaki. Yay! You can't hang me. You can't hang me. All right. So that's one of the main ones. That was one of the first ones that came out because that came out in May, and then it is a multi-organ shutdown. And yes, not everybody gets it, but
it's happening.
How fucked up is it that some kids are getting it? And why should they have to get it? And shouldn't we be taking care of them? They're our kids. They're our investment. All right, we're not investing $50 million.
Yeah, but what's causing it? Is it after they get COVID?
You know what? I didn't read the whole thing. It says, but the strange nature of the case is mostly previously healthy children. It is potentially linked to a virus that's delivered non-constant surprises, but has the medical community high alert. It says, warning that they found out that 15 kids with the condition at their hospital, and the CDC is contacting the health department.
But did they have COVID prior to having this?
I don't think so. I think this is, you know what? I'll read it.
Because
it does. It says coronavirus looks different in kids than adults. So yes.
But are they testing positive for COVID?
You know what? I don't. I can if you talk to the public for a little bit, I can read it real quick.
No, but we can still continue talking regarding that, because if it's something completely separate and there's no way of catching it from somebody else, then it's not coronavirus related. Now, if you're going out and you're catching
it says children are falling ill with perplexing inflammatory syndrome thought to be linked to COVID.
When did that article come out?
This came out in May.
All right.
And this article is from the Washington Post.
Okay.
So it is linked to COVID.
Okay.
And yes, kids are testing positive with COVID from it. Yeah. And well, it's crazy.
If schools continue reopening, we're going to find out if it really is related to COVID, and if it is a side effect of getting COVID. Because I also did read something, and I saw a video on it, and it was children that previously tested positive for COVID some of their organs start failing.
I know, that's what the Kawasaki disease is.
Yeah, but you had to have had COVID already, and then you recovered from it. You were asymptomatic completely, so you never knew they never knew they had COVID, and then like 6 weeks later, they're but of course it's not happening to everybody.
No, because
but a kid had to get a 21-year-old kid had to get a stent in his heart.
Yes, a 21-year-old kid had to get a stent in his heart, and that girl who had a double lung transplant.
Yeah, 29.
And we read an article on Georgia. I read the article, and I was telling you about it. So Georgia, the school where that girl that got suspended, can you believe that? She got suspended?
They overturned it.
They had to. That's a violation of your freedom. I mean, taking pictures. You're not harming anybody by taking a picture.
It is a public school.
Yeah, and we do pay for the infrastructure,
public,
right?
No, it's public.
Yeah. So if we're paying for it, the public,
kids kids take video of themselves in lunchrooms all the time, doing those TikToks, doing dance moves since before. All right, so if you never suspended the kids for doing certain things from before, and you take a picture of the back of kids' heads where you really cannot see their faces, and you suspend them for that, then what are you trying to hide? But you never tried hiding when they were filming the teacher making a mistake, or laughing, passing notes in class, doing the pranks that kids do when they're in school, right? They filmed that. That was totally cool. So you can't go ahead now and suspend somebody for just taking a picture and say, look.
I'm going to play devil's advocate there and then tell you, because we have to play by the new rules now.
Oh, new rules. Right? Those old rules don't apply in this new world anymore.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because now what they're trying to do is protect their privacy, but that's not fair, because that should not be private.
It's not. It's
that
public.
should be public, regardless. So no rules should apply there. Now, in that school, ask me how many kids got the coronavirus and tested positive. 9.
9 kids.
That means that 9 kids were walking through that school with the virus. Now how many more are going to get it?
Teachers.
So you know what? If we cannot try to stop it, and the only way we're going to stop it is by social distancing, staying the freak away from each other.
I don't see schools going back. I just don't see it.
I don't see it for a couple of years.
I think trying to take your kids back to school now is an old world mentality. I think everything changed in March.
I do too.
For everybody. And school stopped. Yes, they keep telling us schools are going to start up. They're trying to keep us content. Because if they say, guys, there's no school coming back until 5, 6, 10 years from now, people are going to react, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, I cannot take care of my kid for 10 years.
My guy's going to go to college. Who's going to teach him?
Yeah, I can't teach him. And I don't want him home. I want him out of my house. I remember all those memes you guys used to put up.
Oh my God,
when school would start about, my kid drinking wine all day. The kid is off into the bus. You used to see the kid going to the bus all sad. The parents really happy. People would freak out if they came out and told you, hey, schools may never happen again for the next 10 years. Organized sports attendance may also be 10 years
Maybe.
before that even happens.
And
It may never happen
and
again.
you know what? It might collapse that industry. You know what?
New world rules, guys.
It's like I said, why is it that the small folk always gets hit? Like,
I'm not rooting for them to fail.
no, I'm not either. But you know what? This is something that's global, and everybody's gonna feel it.
And I think every superintendent or every principal or every district that says yes, they're going to open up the school, you have an old school mentality. You have an old world mentality, and that mentality doesn't work in the new world anymore. This is a new world.
That's right.
And so for them to tell guys, schools are done. School's over. Kids can't go back to school. If the NBA players can't be outside of a bubble, and my kids are not within a bubble in order to attend school, or now new world rules. Small schooling.
Yeah, pods.
Pods.
They're called pods now.
Neighborhood pods.
Yeah, and you know what? This conversation I'm going to have in my own podcast, because I have my own podcast. He has his own.
The mentality is going to change.
And I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah.
So we're both gonna have our own podcast, because there's more things that I want to bring to the public that I have to talk about that only is about women, about being the matriarch or being the alpha or the beta of your family. And he's also gonna go into other things like sports and
whatever, just the stuff I talk about.
Whatever men, because if we know, women are from Mars. Or is it women are from Venus, men are from Mars? I never read that book. You know what? We should read that book. Yeah. I think you
should read it and talk about it in your podcast.
I think that's a great idea.
I think it'll be great.
But what I wanted to talk about was one of the reasons why I think society is decaying so bad is because moms are not raising their kids. Take it how you see it. I know it hurts. But you know what? When someone else is raising your kid, expect that kid to have different types of feelings towards things. And then on top of that, the time they do get at home, if that home time is not good, valuable, 100% quality time, like reading books, playing, enjoying each other, and it's more, go fix your room, go take a shower, go do this, go eat, go this. And what are you raising? Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're right. I think you're right. So we're going to have to develop these pods but in order to do that, we're going to have to regress a little bit and go back to what all pilgrims would probably have to do, where school was in a small setting because kids couldn't be bused from another part of town, brought in. Now you're going to have these small communities where maybe you have 10, 15 kids, and there's going to have to be a group mom of some sort where they can teach the kids, because I don't see schools coming back. So how do you fix it? Do we still rely on a government to provide them with a virtual teaching?
Education.
How is that going to fare off for the little guys? How is that going to fare off for them? That's old world thinking, right?
We're going to try it.
You cannot have a kindergartner on distant learning. Why does it have to be distant? Why can't you guys create a bubble in your communities?
That's right. That's a great idea.
You create your own bubble in your own community. You have your teachers of math, reading, science, sports, whatever it is, right? You divide the burden upon everybody else, and I'm calling it a burden because that's not what you were raised to do, or maybe but you have to take one for the team now, because if your kindergartner is going to stay where, can they go to a camp within that bubble? Perfect. Maybe small businesses can now, instead of running other stuff, can now do a bubble. And that's what we're creating at the Super Kids Clubhouse. Is that we're creating a bubble where no extra kids come out of that bubble. Those kids stay
in that bubble.
We're not going to have a kid come in one day and then leave to the next day. No, they would commit for a certain amount of teaching time to be able to take their classes there, right? Right now it's done virtual, but you have to start thinking differently.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And,
no, big time.
Yeah, and if you can guarantee that it's going to have to be where the parents cannot commingle with other people certain times so you don't infect the kid, and then the kid comes into that bubble, because you can't keep the kid in the bubble like you keep the super athletes.
That's right. Well, the reason why they had to create these brick and mortars was because
The Industrial Revolution.
And women have
Everybody
to work.
everybody went to
went to work.
Everybody went to work.
And now it was mom and dad working, and the kid needed to still be educated. And then that was the start of the decay of a family.
Yeah, and now I think we were just forced to become family again.
Yeah.
Whether you wanted to or not, right? You had to become family again.
But you know what? In a way, I feel that this change is going to be good, especially for our kids, because we went from having to be such a social, you need to like me, I need to show you what I got more than you, I drive a nicer car. There you go. Bullying is going to go down. No one can now tell your kid you're fat. You can't see me. And if you do, I could just press mute, or I could just delete you and I don't even have to see you.
Yep.
So it's changing into a nice world. And the reason
But
why...
at first it's always rough.
Yeah.
The learning process is a bitch, guys.
It is in anything.
Anything.
In anything.
You're learning how to ride a bike. You're gonna fall. You're gonna scrape yourself.
How about driving?
You're gonna nick.
Some people crash.
Right? Start going in the car. Especially the first time you drive a stick shift.
Oh yeah, forget it. It turns off on you. You gotta try to get it back on.
Yeah. Right? But it's a learning curve, and I think at first people are gonna be hesitant because they still want the old world back.
Yes.
I want it back too.
And they're going to try, and they're going to push their kids to go out and do sports.
And many people are going to regret it.
Yeah, and be... you know what? I'm not interested.
It's an old world mentality.
Exactly.
And we need to move into a new world mentality. And it sucks that I'm saying it, but I just don't... If I saw a silver lining at the end that this virus can go away, we can come back to normal, I'd be like, okay, fine. I'm going to wait. I believe that we're going to be able to go back to normal. Old world rules can still apply because we're going to get back to normal. We'll figure it out. But if we're still trying to figure out this new world with an old world mentality,
you can't. Even Einstein said it, right?
Can't do it. You just can't do it. You're gonna be going against the current.
Exactly.
And that current is not gonna end. That current is not gonna end because if it's like AIDS or HIV where it's here forever, it's gonna be here forever.
The funnel widens and widens and widens.
That current is gonna keep coming this way. No, I'm gonna keep my dance studio, my karate school open.
I don't care. I'm gonna waste all my savings.
My restaurant, I don't have any outdoor seating, but you know I'm gonna stick with the takeout. Small kitchens. You know how to cook? Small kitchens. You better have a talent, all right? Because there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be able to work from home, and
have to now.
And now everything's gonna have to basically downside, and the entrepreneur is gonna succeed because he will or she will adapt and reinvent themselves, and those that are stuck in the old world mentality is gonna be tough because the old world rules don't apply anymore. Everything changed. March 13th, for us, that was the day. That's the date. March 13th, 2020 was the last day that we had people coming in to host regular activities at the clubhouse.
That's right.
That was it. I remember Thursday we were hosting karate classes, camp. Friday, I had all the kids separated. They weren't allowed to intertwine or intermingle with each other. They were kind of separated 6 feet apart. Parents were no longer allowed inside of the clubhouse. We were just, the parent would come, we will say bye to the kid.
You know what the funny thing is that I even laughed at him. When this first started, he was like, babes, I think it was like in January, he told me.
February.
He was like, babes, there's a virus.
Now we're the first mask.
That's coming out in China, and it's getting people, and I'm like, come on, babes, how the heck is it gonna get over here? You know, ignorant me. And it made it here.
It made it here, and it shut down the economy. It destroyed the economy in April, May, June, July. 4 months.
It hasn't destroyed the economy yet because we're not feeling the effects yet.
No, we're not feeling the effects yet.
The effects haven't came in yet. It's a funny.
It comes in these waves.
It's a weird.
We've never experienced
any. Well, we did. We experienced the housing crash, not the crash, but the reset.
But you saw light. You saw light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, because you just live the damn house. You live in it, and you keep paying it, and you stay. Your salary's still the same, and you just live, and you stay there, and you pay the damn house.
Your job was never in jeopardy.
Exactly, but this is. I tell people, small businesses are 95% of the U.S. economy. I'm going to repeat that. Small businesses is 95% of the U.S. economy in consumption, in making money. Oh yeah, look it up. This, you know what? I actually got those facts from my economics professor in college. So I might be wrong, but we're gonna go ahead since he's gonna look it up and tell us what it is. But it's a huge part because there's a lot more small businesses in a plaza than there is a big corporation. You know, so that, but they also take a lot of space, but we'll find out. So you have the backbone of America is deteriorating. It's going slowly bye-bye. And if people are not spending, and if there's no companies opening up, and if there's no supplies being used, and if all this is happening,
44%.
For only 44%?
Yep. It says a news report shows that the account for 44% of U.S. economic activity.
Let's see. How much businesses?
49% private sector. 27.9 million small business administration. Facts and data small business entrepreneurship.
How many small businesses make up the... Sorry guys, we're doing some research.
Employer firms with fewer than 500 workers employed 46.8% of the private sector payrolls in 2016.
Okay, so let's say it's what?
50%.
Let's say it's 50%. So let's scale back. 50%. That's still a lot because if you lose 50% of your market, then what happens?
Oh, but it's got to be more than that.
It has to be, in my opinion.
Because everything is small business.
Everything.
There's only a few there's only a few big businesses. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, big businesses, talking about Amazon, Google, and stuff like that. But if you walk, Shell's big business. Supermarkets are big business. Gas stations, gas is big business. But then if you go up and down, like what's Ross? Is Ross big business or small business? Like department
Who
stores,
owns
Macy's.
them? It's probably another big business that
So
owns
it's a big business that owns all these other small businesses, but it's still part of big business.
That's part of big business.
That's big business. But like the mom and pop stores.
Like Marshall. Well, let's see how many mom and pop. That's a good question.
Yeah.
How many mom and pop businesses make up business? Yep, that's a good one. Make up the U.S. economy?
Yeah.
Sounds right. Let's see.
So, playing with new world rules is the only way to go in this new world. Keep playing with the old rules, and people are gonna affect people's lives are gonna get affected. What is it?
It says 50%.
50%. There you go.
They make up our gross domestic product. So yeah, 50%. Yeah. So, and what happens when out of that 50%, 40 go?
Just crashing.
Let's just say 20.
It's crashing. It'll just start coming down. Like
so, if you're
homelessness will be rampant across the streets.
If you're a styrofoam company that was selling
to restaurants,
$100 million a year, and now 50%. I mean, 50% of your business goes bye.
Because people are not taking out anymore.
Now you're making 50. Then what do you have to do to your employees? You gotta fire them.
You gotta let go of them.
Unless the government prints some more money and gives us another PPE loan. And you know what? I want to talk about that PPE loan. You know that a lot of businesses got PPE loans, and supposedly if you got a PPE loan, you were supposed to help your tenants, and if they didn't, they can get sued. I don't know if that's true. This is just in talking conversation. I was told by a friend that said, "Hey, if the business or the landlord of your place," because I was talking about our situation, if she received the PPE loan and she still is collecting and going after you guys, technically she's not doing what Trump said that he wanted these people to do, which was, I'll help you, but you gotta keep these people here.
Yeah.
So like that they can, go back to some normalcy. So if that's happening to you guys, look into it and let me know. Text us, type us and let us know, what's going on. I'm gonna look into it and figure it out because I don't think that they should be using our money. It is our money, and they're not helping us. I'll take your money, but then I'm not gonna help you.
Yeah.
Not the times, guys. This is not the time. This is the time to figure out what the heck is going on, work together as a population, and work together with empathy as a society, because at the end of the day, I don't care how you slice and dice it. He said it better than anyone else. We are all connected one way, somehow. So if one person goes down, it's going to affect you eventually, right? Every sixth is going to affect you. So
6 degrees of separation.
Exactly. So you know what? That pizzeria that's closing over there, oh, pobrecito, his pizzeria is closing. Oh, pobrecito. When that hits the economy and it starts hitting your pocket, maybe we shouldn't have been pobrecito. Maybe we should be like, cochale. Maybe we should be having pizza once a week.
But what about if you don't have a job?
Exactly. What do? You can't blame society either. I mean the economy.
Yeah. How about if you're trying to just make ends meet right now because work is not as frequent as it used to be? Now, you know what? Buying pizza like I used to do every Friday, now I'm just doing it once a month.
And that's if you
because
can.
you're trying. Because you're trying.
You
can't blame. You can't blame. Oh, don't go. Like I cannot blame people for not coming to train martial arts in my studio.
No, it's a full circle.
I can't do it. Probably they lost their job. They can't. And one of the first things people are going to cut out is extracurricular activities.
That's the first thing. Gym.
Right. We cut the gym.
Kids doing extra. Look at us. We went.
Priorities become shelter, food,
and health.
light.
And light. Yeah. And water. Well, water doesn't mean
food and shelter. That becomes number one priority, and making sure your kid has food on his table, making sure you have a roof over your head, and so cutting out pizza, cutting out getting your nails done, cutting going to buy a new pair of sneakers.
Yeah, that
comes second nature. How many people are going to be out there trying to shop now for kids going back to school? That's going to take a huge. Target's going to take a huge hit right there.
A lot of places are going to take a. How about those small?
All those mom and because a lot of them,
stores,
the uniform stores, all those sneaker boutique stores where people go buy sneakers at. If you're not going out, why do you need new sneakers?
Like, when was the last time we wore our pair of sneakers? The other day that we went out to the supermarket. Yesterday that I went to go get my hair done.
Yeah, wear sneakers out. Otherwise, I'm in slippers all day.
Yeah.
I'm in slippers all day or barefooted in my house.
I'm barefooted all day.
Yeah. So it's new world. It's new world rules. But unfortunately, our leaders are not playing by the new world rules. They haven't, because nobody's came up with them yet.
No. And you know what? And because they're not seeing the backlash yet. It's very new.
Or maybe they know it's coming. Or maybe they know it's coming. It's like, you know what?
Let's milk it to as long as we can.
As long as we can with these old world rules. And it doesn't matter if we destroy people's lives. Yeah, send them back to school. Our investment of professional athletes, let's keep them in a bubble.
Like for example, our property taxes are supposedly going up. How are you going to raise our taxes? What additional stuff are you doing in my neighborhood that you're going to raise taxes? We're not even using the parks. We're not even going out. Schools are not even being used. Yeah. What happens with that money?
Yeah, why taxes being raised? We should do a podcast just on that and just post that podcast locally right in our neighborhood.
Yeah, you guys really need to
if you listen to us from Germany, they don't know about it.
That's true. You guys don't know about it. But you know what? It's pretty cool to know what's happening in the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And what's happening to a family. Because at the end of the day, we're a family. Patriarch,
and this coronavirus is worldwide.
Yeah, and it's not just exactly
one country.
It's not just you getting affected. It's not just John down the street getting affected, or whoever in China getting affected. This is worldwide.
It's coming for everybody. Whether you get sick or not, is gonna affect you one way or another.
Like, I didn't know Beirut was in such a big deal.
Yeah, Beirut. What happened right now over there in Lebanon?
Yeah. You know what? This was an amazing podcast, guys. I enjoyed it. I could keep going forever, but you know what? We want to keep topics for the next one. And
we don't want to. And it's done. We are done with our podcast today. Guys, subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell, so when we throw out a new video, you get a notification. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.